kooky, and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
It's fun times.
Oh, yeah.
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
The drama surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has reached a boiling point, and the revelations just keep piling up. Imagine this, a global music icon once celebrated for his flashy lifestyle and star-studded parties, now sitting in a jail cell while his every move is scrutinized. But what makes this story even wilder is the discovery of handwritten notes in his cell notes that prosecutors claim contain instructions to dig up dirt on his alleged victims. Yes, you heard that right. This is no ordinary celebrity trial. It's a scandal that could shake the entertainment world to its core.
So I would imagine if you're the CIA, you're like, okay, we're looking for people who have gone through these things in their life that have curated this kind of like personality type.
Well, isn't it just like part of the gig? Like here's a for instance, like your bit about Puffy.
So the notes, reportedly scribbled across 19 pages, were seized during an unannounced sweep of Diddy's cell at the detention center in Brooklyn. Among these pages was a to-do list that included messages to his family members to investigate his accusers. Prosecutors allege that these writings reveal a deliberate effort to manipulate the case, including attempts to pay off witnesses and gather damaging information on his alleged victims. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic didn't hold back, telling the court a witness was paid off and finding dirt on 2 different victims is not privilege. The implications are damning, to say the least.
At the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government's saying no. On the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
What's even more shocking is the defense's response to this discovery. Diddy's legal team, led by attorney Mark Agnifilo, claims that the seizure of these notes is a blatant violation of his constitutional right. Agnifilo argued that these pages are protected under attorney-client privilege, as many of them contain notes about defense strategies and conversations with his lawyers. The bottom line is that no multi-agency law enforcement initiative justified rifling through Mr. Combs' personal handwritten notes of conversations with his lawyers, and the prosecutor's arguments to the contrary lack all credibility, Agnifilo said during the emergency court hearing.
That's it. If it is privileged, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
To make matters even messier, the defense is now demanding access to surveillance footage from the detention center to determine how the search was conducted. Agnifilo has accused the prosecution of overstepping their authority, calling the incident a complete institutional failure. He even hinted that this breach could lead to the dismissal of the entire case or, at the very least, the recusal of the prosecution team. It's a bold claim, but one that highlights just how high the stakes are in this legal battle.
They probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours gathering evidence for your side or, strategy or whatever, for me, I'd be like, oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
Adding another layer of complexity to the story, the prosecution insists that the raid on Diddy's cell wasn't targeted. According to Slavic, the search was part of a broader sweep conducted by the Bureau of Prisons to address contraband and other illegal activities within the facility. She emphasized that no one on the prosecution team was directly involved in the raid, framing it as a routine operation. However, the timing of the search coming on the heels of accusations that Diddy was attempting to influence witnesses raises eyebrows. Is it really a coincidence, or was this a calculated move to strengthen the case against him? The notes themselves paint a troubling picture. Alongside the alleged instructions to find incriminating information on his accusers, the pages reportedly contained a mix of personal reflections, financial plans, and even motivational quotes. While some might argue that this is typical behavior for someone under immense pressure, others see it as a calculated attempt to manipulate the legal process. One page, ominously labeled Things to Do, is said to include detailed plans for undermining the credibility of his alleged victims. If true, this could be a devastating blow to Diddy's defense.
Of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers.
Let's not forget the broader context here. Diddy is facing a laundry list of charges, including allegations of exploitation, coercion, and misconduct. The indictment accuses him of orchestrating elaborate events designed to exert control over others, with claims that these gatherings often involve disturbing behavior. Prosecutors have painted a picture of a man who used his influence and resources to create an environment where he could act with impunity. His alleged attempts to manipulate witnesses from behind bars only add to this narrative, making it even harder for the defense to argue his innocence.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
But Diddy's legal team isn't backing down. Agnifilo has been relentless in his criticism of the prosecution, accusing them of violating Diddy's 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights. He's also questioned the integrity of the investigation, suggesting that the notes were mishandled and should never have been shared with the prosecution in the first place. Virtually every single thing in these legal pads are matters he discusses with his attorneys, Agnifilo argued in court. This has been a complete institutional failure. It's a bold strategy, but one that could potentially shift the focus away from Diddy's alleged actions and onto the conduct of the investigators. The judge overseeing the case, Arun Subramanian, has tried to strike a balance between the two sides. While he ordered prosecutors to destroy any copies of the seized notes, he also decided to keep the original documents under lock and key until further notice. This means that the court will ultimately decide whether these notes can be used as evidence. In the meantime, both sides are preparing for what promises to be a contentious legal battle. And with Diddy's next bail hearing just around the corner, the stakes couldn't be higher.
So Diddy, if you're just joining us here, was just arrested and taken into federal custody in New York tonight. Sources tell TMZ Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him.
What makes this case even more intriguing is the broader implications it has for the entertainment industry. Diddy's downfall isn't just a personal tragedy, it's a cautionary tale about the unchecked power and influence wielded by some of the biggest names in the business. His case has already prompted renewed scrutiny of the culture within the industry, with many wondering how such behavior could go unchecked for so long. As more details emerge, it's becoming clear that this isn't just about one man's alleged crimes, it's about an entire system that enabled him.
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff, they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there, you know.
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
For now, Diddy remains behind bars, denied bail multiple times over concerns that he might tamper with witnesses if released. Prosecutors have argued that his actions, both before and after his arrest, demonstrate a pattern of manipulation and control. They point to phone records showing that he made dozens of calls to witnesses and even used other inmates' phone accounts to bypass monitoring. These accusations only add to the mountain of evidence against him, making it increasingly difficult for his defense team to argue his innocence. And yet, there's still a sense of uncertainty surrounding the case. With so many moving parts and high-profile figures involved, it's hard to predict how this will all play out. Will the court rule that the seized notes are admissible as evidence? Could the defense successfully argue that Diddy's rights were violated, leading to a dismissal of the charges? Or will new allegations continue to surface, further complicating an already messy situation? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. As the legal battle unfolds, the public is left to grapple with the shocking revelations and their implications. What does this say about the culture of celebrity and power? How many others knew about Diddy's alleged actions but chose to stay silent? And perhaps most importantly, what can be done to prevent something like this from happening again? These are the questions that will continue to loom over this case, even as the courtroom drama takes center stage.
Speak with impunity about the Illuminati because I know who you would have to be in order for what I'm saying to bother you, number one.
Right.
Number two, I know your big secret. I know that you're not the Illuminati, I am. So...
The next chapter in this saga promises to be just as explosive, with the defense digging in its heels and the prosecution showing no signs of backing down. The stage is set for a legal showdown that could have far-reaching consequences. And as more details emerge, it's becoming clear that this isn't just about one man, it's about an entire culture of secrecy and complicity that's finally being exposed.
He will be sued. And I say will be because nothing has been filed yet by at least 120 people in the next 30 days.
The fallout from Sean Diddy Combs' scandal isn't just limited to his personal legal troubles. This is the kind of story that doesn't just stay confined to one person, it ripples outward, dragging other big names into the spotlight. And here's where things get even messier. Diddy's infamous freak-offs, those secretive and exclusive gatherings that allegedly happened behind the scenes of his glitzy public parties, are now under more scrutiny than ever. These aren't just wild allegations about one man. They're part of a larger narrative that's starting to unravel, one thread at a time. And if you thought Diddy's notes were shocking, wait until you hear what's happening with the A-list crowd that surrounded him.
So it sounded crazy, like I said before. They said that 2,300 people reached out to the law firm, and out of the 2,300 people, I guess they decided to go with just a little over 100, which seems like it's they just put out the number and everybody's calling to see if they can get a check.
It's insane. It's insane. Now, again, he did say that nothing has been filed yet because he says he wants to make sure that they do their due diligence and get this right.
Imagine this: the biggest names in Hollywood, sports, and even politics, all rubbing shoulders at Diddy's so-called legendary events. Everyone wanted an invite. These were the parties of the decade, the ones that people whispered about, but rarely described in detail. From the outside, they look like glamorous nights with champagne glasses clinking and flashbulbs popping. But according to recent reports, when the cameras disappeared, the parties allegedly turned into something much darker. Attorney Tony Bowsby, who's representing over 120 alleged victims, has made it clear this isn't just about Diddy. In fact, Bowsby has already sent demand letters to a list of celebrities who attended these events. His message: if you were there, you're not off the hook. Even if you didn't directly participate in anything illegal, your silence speaks volumes. Their inaction makes them complicit. Bowsby said in a recent interview, if you were at these events and knew what was happening, you share responsibility. That statement alone has sent shockwaves through Hollywood.
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
So, who are these celebrities? Photos and videos from Diddy's infamous gatherings have resurfaced, showing a glittering guest list that includes names like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Leonardo DiCaprio, Paris Hilton, Ashton Kutcher, Jennifer Lopez, and even high-profile figures from the business and political worlds. While many of these stars have stayed silent, rumors are swirling about their level of involvement or lack thereof. Some, like Ice Cube, have been quick to distance themselves. During a concert in Las Vegas, he addressed the crowd, saying, "Me and WC ain't never been to a Diddy party. You ain't gotta worry about us on those tapes." Others, like Damon Dash, have taken a similar approach, clarifying that they may have attended a party or 2 decades ago but were never involved in anything questionable. Still, their names are now tied to this growing storm, and the public is watching closely.
Responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back in his...
But here's where it gets even murkier. Bowsby has suggested that some attendees are already scrambling to cover their tracks. He told reporters that he believes certain celebrities are scrubbing their social media accounts in an attempt to erase any connection to Diddy and his parties. "I have no doubt that people are deleting pictures, texts, and anything else that might link them to these events," he said. "But we know who they are, and we will find out more." It's a chilling statement, and it raises the question, what exactly are these people trying to hide?
Jay-Z got his whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your whooped.
One former attendee, identified as Tanya Wallace, has added fuel to the fire with her claims about what she saw at one of Diddy's gatherings. She described a scene that was anything but glamorous people allegedly out of control, surrounded by an atmosphere that she said felt chaotic and dangerous. Wallace even mentioned seeing individuals who looked alarmingly young, dressed up in elaborate costumes. While Diddy's legal team has dismissed her claims as categorically false, they haven't stopped the rumors from spreading like wildfire. And Wallace's account is just one of many. As this case unfolds, more and more people are stepping forward to share their experiences, each one adding another layer to an already explosive story. But Wallace isn't the only one speaking out. According to insider accounts, several former employees of Diddy's entertainment company, Bad Boy Records, have also come forward anonymously, claiming that they were instructed to help organize these after-hours events. One former assistant reportedly told investigators that their job description included handle logistics for these private parties, which allegedly included booking luxury venues, coordinating guest lists, and ensuring that certain guests were kept away from prying eyes. These insiders claim that the public-facing portion of Diddy's events was carefully curated to maintain his image, while the real chaos happened behind closed doors. If proven true, these allegations could expose an entire network of enablers who help maintain the secrecy of these gatherings.
They don't want if they was in any of those freak off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand. That's why a lot of those rappers...
To make matters worse, there are whispers of payment records and receipts that could blow the case wide open. Investigators are reportedly looking into large transactions made by Diddy's team to consultants and event managers, with some suspecting that these payments were hush money for key figures tied to the events. While no solid evidence has been presented yet, prosecutors are said to be building a financial paper trail that could implicate others who were involved. If these documents are introduced in court, they could provide undeniable proof of the alleged coordinated efforts to conceal what went on at these parties.
Exactly. You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there. It's everywhere. My news feed is dominated by it. Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's house.
And then there's the chilling detail about what some of these events allegedly required. Sources close to the investigation have hinted at audio and video recordings that may have been taken during the gatherings. Prosecutors believe Diddy kept these recordings not only as leverage but also as trophies to fuel his sense of power over others. While these claims remain speculative for now, the idea that such footage might exist has sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Could this be the smoking gun that ties everything together? And if these recordings are found, how many other high-profile individuals could be implicated? The potential fallout is enormous, not just for Diddy but for the entire entertainment industry. Legal experts have suggested that this case could set a precedent for holding enablers accountable, even if they didn't directly participate in the alleged misconduct. It's a wake-up call for those who think their silence or passive involvement will protect them. As one attorney put it, the days of looking the other way are over. This case could mark a turning point, forcing everyone involved to reevaluate their role in maintaining a system that prioritizes power over accountability.
The 90s?
Music business? It's a lot of people.
It's not just the music business. It's like, it's the extortion business.
Well, that's, yeah. I mean, the rap game was crazy. That's a thing a lot of people don't realize is like, back in the day, especially like early rap game, you weren't just going to play at, you know, what's the random theater that you would play in LA? What's like a big...
Meanwhile, the demand letters sent by Boosby aren't just idle threats. They're a strategic move designed to put pressure on anyone who might have been involved or even just present at these events. The letters reportedly outline the situation in detail and offer the recipients a choice: settle out of court or face a lawsuit. This kind of ultimatum has left many wondering who will speak up and who will try to quietly pay their way out of the spotlight. And let's not forget, these settlements aren't just about money, they're about accountability. Busby has made it clear that he's willing to escalate to lawsuits if necessary, saying, "We're prepared to take this as far as it needs to go." The implications are staggering. If these lawsuits move forward, they could pull even more high-profile names into the fray. Imagine the depositions, the cross-examinations, the potential for more damning revelations. This isn't just about Diddy anymore, it's about an entire culture of complicity that allowed these events to happen in the first place. And for the public, it's a harsh reminder of the power dynamics at play in the entertainment industry, where silence often equals survival.
That's what people were saying, and maybe, you know, everybody's a conspiracy theorist now, but that's what people are saying about the Diddy situation. Like when the feds rolled up, you know, with the Hummers and shit, they were like, it wasn't about Diddy, it was about if there were tapes of powerful people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They were the ones that called. They're like, I need to protect myself, so go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or any evidence.
But let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture. This case is starting to feel eerily similar to other high-profile scandals that have rocked Hollywood in recent years. Think about it, powerful men accused of exploiting their positions, surrounded by enablers who either turned a blind eye or actively participated. The parallels are hard to ignore, and they raise uncomfortable questions about how much the industry has really changed. Have we learned anything from past scandals, or are we doomed to keep repeating the same mistakes? And then there's the question of Diddy's own behavior. Prosecutors have accused him of using his influence to manipulate not just the people around him, but also public perception. For example, during his time in jail, Diddy reportedly encouraged his family to post a video wishing him a happy birthday, allegedly with the intent of swaying potential jurors. Prosecutors claim he even monitored the video's engagement metrics, discussing how it could affect his image. It's a level of control and calculation that's both fascinating and unsettling. If these allegations are true, it paints a picture of someone who's willing to go to great lengths to protect his reputation, even as the walls close in around him.
Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw I go upstairs and these dudes are like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are
like, and pros. Like apparently he was getting male gigolos to girls.
girls.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional to have with the girls, and I think he would watch allegedly.
But let's not forget the victims at the center of this story. For them, this isn't just a headline or a trending topic, it's their reality. Many of them have spent years living in silence, afraid to come forward. Now they're finally finding the courage to speak out, and their voices are forcing the industry to confront its darkest secrets. It's a powerful reminder that real change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with people demanding accountability.
Caligula.
Okay, so then there's the question. It's like, can you take a completely normal person, give them power, and then they become that? Or does it take a power-hungry person that has this void that needs to be filled, and then when they are given that power, you see the worst version of them?
Ask your CIA boy. I bet he's got the answers. I bet he knows the exact formula.
To corrupting somebody
Yeah.
or to...
What happens? Like what happens to these people?
As for Diddy's future, it's hard to say what will happen next. His trial isn't set to begin until May 2025, which means there's plenty of time for more twists and turns. Will new allegations come to light? Will more celebrities be implicated? And perhaps most importantly, will the entertainment industry finally take a hard look at itself and make meaningful changes? These are the questions that will continue to loom over this case, long after the courtroom drama is over. For now, one thing is certain, this story is far from over. With every new revelation, it becomes clear that this isn't just about one man's alleged actions, it's about a culture of power, privilege, and complicity that's finally being exposed. And as the public watches the scandal unfold, the question remains who will be held accountable and who will get away with it. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going and see where the truth takes us. Goodbye.